MuFUsSy's got the rage, let it flow. Holding on to stories, tales untold. He's the king of the ring, the last man standing. Dropkick the Commute.
Hello and welcome to Dropkick the Commute, where we are going to talk about Vengeance Day and AEW Grand Slam Australia. Two really big shows this weekend, which is very exciting. I really liked them both. I thought they were both solid. I was surprised at how good Grand Slam was going to be. Grand Slam was definitely in a weird place, you know, people thinking it was going to be a pay-per-view early on, but then they announced it was going to be a TV special, and then there was no set time for it because it played after NBA. Like, it was such a mess and so weird, but it turned out to be a really good show and a big sold-out crowd. 10,000 people in Brisbane, which was really, really exciting. It just really added to that atmosphere of the show. So, also, I should mention we're not in the car today. We're not in a car today. We got pay-per-view talk, PLE talk. We're being serious. No driving around, no monkeying around. Starting off with Vengeance Day, I thought the venue was really, really dope. I thought it was just gonna be like a normal plain arena, but it was like a nice one. I don't know. It had a good vibe to it. As I always say, I really like NXT when they go in front of these big crowds because the people love NXT. They love it. You know, it's nice getting out of the Performance Center every once in a while. They've been going on tour more lately, ever since the switch to the CW. And I think, you know, the crowds that do get to see NXT that aren't that normal Florida crowd, it really makes a difference in the show and the atmosphere and everything. So let's hop into it. Starting off, we had our first match was Stephanie Vaquer and Fallon Henley, NXT North American Women's Championship. This was a really, really solid match. I thought really good showing from Stephanie Vaquer. You know, she's been killing it ever since she came to NXT, and Fallon Henley as well. I think this was a good little run for her for champion. Fatal Influence, lots of interference from them. There was a moment where JC Jane fucking gave a big old knee to Stephanie and almost gave Fallon a near fall here to go over on Stephanie, but that did not happen. In the crowd in this match, we had Jada Parker, Kalani Jordan, and Carmen Petrovic, who, you know, we're watching on, and they're seemingly going to be the next challengers for Stephanie. I did get this prediction correct. Stephanie Vaquer went over, won the title, so now we have her and Julia both as champions for a little bit here. I think that's going to be a really cool dynamic. I'm sure we're going to see some tag team action here, and it would be really interesting to see like who their opponents are going to be and, you know, where they go from here. I thought it was very solid. A little bit of history made here with Stephanie winning. She is the first South American born champion in WWE history. So that's a fun little bit there. Stephanie looks good with a title. You know, we saw her have plenty of titles all over the world, CMLL, New Japan, all that shit, but she looks good with a title in WWE. So this is really exciting. I'm assuming we're going to get like a Fallon rematch, but then we're probably going to have like Kalani come up and then Jada Parker, Carmen Petrovic, like, you know, whoever's up for it, really. So yeah, really solid match there. We're just going to kind of quickly go through these. I thought they were solid shows, but I didn't think anything was like, wow, like out of this world, you know? So we'll just kind of quickly go through the matches here, talk about the results and all that stuff. Second match of Vengeance Day, we had the NXT Tag Team Championship, Fraxium versus Josh Briggs, and I apologize, I butcher his name every time. Yoshiki Inamura. I have not seen much from this man. I think we saw him on NXT a few weeks ago, but I've never seen much of his wrestling. But this match was absolutely solid. Obviously, every match that we have from Fraxium, every title defense goes fucking crazy. One of the moves that Axiom does that I am just astounded by every time, it's like a drop kick, but it's called the golden ratio, or at least that's what Vic Joseph called it, where he like jumps up, but his legs are like, you know, he makes like a triangle with his legs into a drop kick, and it's just fucking crazy. The air that he gets from that, plus the dropkick movement just makes it so fucking cool. There was another moment where Josh Briggs was standing up on the turnbuckle and he threw Nathan Frazier like from the top rope well over his head onto Axiom. He chucked that man like halfway across the ring onto his partner. And like the strength that requires is so insane. Inamura was really, really great in this match. Like I said, I think I've only seen him one other time, but he was like brutal, just very strong, really like put in the work here. And I think both teams, you know, this probably was like my second favorite match of the night. I would say this might be my favorite. I might be changing my mind. I'm changing my mind. This was my favorite match of the night. Just super high energy, really crazy, and just, you know, our typical Fraxium title defense, which is always so hype. After the match is what is important. The debut of a new faction, and they're kind of like the Shield 2.0. Shield 2.0 mixed with, you know, the Nexus, mixed with a whole bunch of people. But basically these four guys come out, and after Fraxium and Josh Briggs and Inamura shake hands, lights go out, they come out, they rush the ring and start attacking everybody, and then they just stand in the middle of the ring and they're like, yeah, we're here to fuck shit up. That is not the only time we see them though. Next match of the night was the strap match between Trick Williams and Eddie Thorpe. I absolutely love this match. Thank God it was a pinfall strap match. I love it so much better than the Four Corners strap matches. Like, pinfall and submission strap match is such a fucking vibe, and it really adds like a cool element. The Four Corners one is interesting because obviously you have that dynamic of someone going to try to reach the corner and then they get yanked away, but you still have that in this match, and I feel like there's a little bit more stakes to it because like you can fling your opponent out of the ring and then just like yank on them, which we saw plenty of in this. There was a moment here where Trick did like an STF to Eddie Thorpe, and Eddie Thorpe like crawled out of the ring. So Trick's only option was to like pull him in, which obviously requires a lot of strength to do that. It just adds a cool dynamic of like trying to get your opponent back in the ring. You have all these moves with the strap that you can do. Of course, lots of beatings with the strap. Just very physical, very brutal, and a lot of fun to watch. So this was a great match, and surprisingly, I really did not expect this. Eddie Thorpe ended up getting the win with a pinfall, and I truly wasn't expecting it. I was thinking Trick was going to win, but Eddie Thorpe got the dub, and it was just kind of crazy. We had Ethan Page versus Javon Evans, and this was so good. We saw a side of Javon that we haven't really seen before, where he was just so fast, so brutal, very aggressive, very offensive the entire match. Of course, the story of this match was his jaw is still fucked up, so he had a big old mouth guard in. He had to try to protect his face and everything. Of course, Javon, the bouncy boy that he is, flying all over the place. And we had one move where he went to go do kind of a cutter off of the ropes, and Ethan Page just fucking clocked him in the jaw while he was flying in the air, shortly getting the pin after that. This was really good. I was under the assumption that Ethan Page was going to cheat somehow, but he didn't. He did not cheat. He did use the stairs at one point, but Ethan Page like targeted the leg the whole match, was really fucking up Javon's leg. Javon was doing a great job at selling the leg throughout the match. You know, as he was being offensive, he was like hopping on one foot. He was still hitting those high flying moves, but he was selling it in a way where he's like, oh shit, I'm slower. They both did a really, really good job in this match, and it was really, really entertaining. We had Obafemi versus A-Town Down Under in a triple threat for the NXT Championship. They've done this a few times in NXT where you have like the tag team face the champion, but it's a triple threat and they're against each other, specifically with Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. Well, they did that on the main roster once as well. It's a really interesting concept because you do like in most triple threat matches, you get those temporary alliances. But the thing with this is they're a tag team. That alliance is kind of there from the get-go. And then eventually they turn on each other in the match. Like there was a point where Theory pulled Grayson off of Oba, which ended up costing them both, and Oba ended up retaining. But it's just a cool moment because, like, you know, you don't know if they're going to fully turn on each other. You don't really know what's going to happen, and they do have to fight each other. Similar thing happened in the women's match later on with Roxanne and Cora Jade. Like, obviously their relationship is dwindling, but you have that same, like, dynamic in that Fatal 4-Way. Again, Obafemi did end up retaining in this, and he was just fucking tossing A-Town down under all over the place, all over the ring. Just, you know, this was your classic, like, Obafemi match. After the match, that new faction, lights went out. Oba's, like, looking around all scared. He's like, what the fuck is happening? And they rush the ring. They rush Oba, take him down, and they're standing there like, yeah, we're crazy. So this new faction is here to seemingly destroy NXT and come after all the championships. NXT Women's Championship, Fatal 4-Way, Julia, Bayley, Roxanne, and Cora Jade. Bayley looked really, like, slow in this match, and I thought she couldn't really hang with the three NXT girls, if I'm being honest. I thought Bayley definitely looked the weakest in this, and the pacing was a little weird because of that. But overall, it was a very, very solid match. Like, really good showing from Julia, Roxanne, and Cora. And again, that dynamic of the friendship with Roxanne and Cora, like, completely broke down in this match, and they just started beating the shit out of each other, you know, going for that championship. This really, really seemed like Roxanne's final match in NXT. I wouldn't be surprised if she gets called up soon. I thought that, number one, her entrance was kind of telling of that, but number two, just her performance in this, and the fact that she's in a qualifying match for the Elimination Chamber, like, with her performance in the Rumble, and her being the Iron Woman, I genuinely would not be surprised if Roxanne is the last to qualify for the Elimination Chamber. I think that she could absolutely be in that match. I don't think she's going to win, but I think that's going to be her call up to the main roster. Like, she'll get called up before the draft even happens, if there is a draft this year. Honestly, like, she deserves it after this match, and especially after the Royal Rumble. Julia ended up retaining in this. Again, I'm totally okay with that. I really like this dynamic that we're going to have in a little bit here with Julia and Stephanie, like, both being champions and probably going to tag together a lot as champions. I thought it was really exciting. And then after this match, the new group did not come out, but Jordynne Grace came out. Jordynne Grace officially on NXT, and she had a little stare down with Julia at the end of the match. Overall, Vengeance Day I thought was really solid. I am going to give it a cool 3.89 drop kicks out of 5. I thought it was good. It was good, but nothing fucking crazy. You know what I'm saying? Jumping over to the AEW side of things now, Grand Slam Australia. I know this is not a pay-per-view, but they pushed it to be a big show, and it felt like one. I thought it was really, really good. Very solid overall. There's so much fucking discourse on Twitter with the IWC. Oh, the ring was smaller. Look at them. They can't do anything in this ring. It's small. And all this, just shut the fuck up, bro. Just shut up, man. They rented a ring. It's in Australia. It was a good show. You're just hating to hate on it. Shut the fuck up. I'm so sick of it. I'll tell you what, that's the one downside of doing this podcast, is going on Twitter and seeing all the just watch wrestling, man. Just watch it. If you don't like it, don't watch it. If you don't like AEW, cool, don't watch it. Who gives a fuck if they had a small ring? You go to an indie show, you're not gonna hate it. Like, you want to ship a ring to Australia and have a show and have a 10,000 person show? Do it then. Shut the fuck up and do it, goofy ass. But anyway, I digress. Our first match of Grand Slam Australia, Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega, Takeshita, Kyle Fletcher. This opened with a fucking bang. This was great. It really degraded into a tornado tag match. That's kind of my one gripe sometimes with these tag matches, is they just don't give a fuck about the rules after a while. They absolutely just started doing a tornado tag. There was a point where Kyle Fletcher and Takeshita did like a double pin. The ref counted the pin. Just completely degraded into a tornado tag. but it was really high energy, really solid. We had a gnarly DDT from Will Ospreay to Kyle Fletcher, and it was just so fucking impressive. Kyle Fletcher literally landed right on top of his dome with this DDT. Like, just right, that's me landing on my head. It was so fucking crazy. Kenny Omega's entrance, absolutely incredible. He did come out to his new song. Again, I think that's really cool, having him like come out to his new song for like these big shows and pay-per-views, and then having come out to Battle Cry for like Dynamite and stuff. Very surprising that Kyle Fletcher was getting booed in Australia. I mean, he is a heel, but they played into it. The crowd understood the assignment, and they booed Kyle Fletcher to all hell. Just lots of action in this, lots of fun, lots of high flying. Just very, very solid. The craziest part that everyone's talking about is the one-winged angel and the hidden blade like combo that Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega did. It was just such a cool move that they did, and they make a great fucking team. Like, I'm so happy with this match. Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega did end up getting the dub. Absolutely the right choice. Great match. Good way to open the show. Second match of the night, Mercedes versus Harley Cameron. Oh my God, I loved this. I loved this match. Harley Cameron is so good in the ring now. She is so over with the crowd. And that fucking shot that I keep seeing of her pulling out Puppet Mercedes and then sitting on the ring with like a pissed off face. Mercedes goes for like a slide kick, like a baseball kick to her. She like dodges it, starts hitting her with Puppet Mercedes. Oh, it was so good, dude. Like, wrestling is so fucking goofy, and I loved it. I loved it so much. Harley Cameron has improved so much in the ring, and her character is great, and her new music is great. Like, she is so over with the crowd, and she's doing such a great job. Like, I love Toni Storm, but Harley Cameron is like a really close second in this, like, with her character work that she's been doing and all of the segments that we've been getting from her on Dynamite and her matches lately. Like, Harley Cameron is definitely up there in my eyes right now. Mercedes ended up winning, but like, whatever. Oh well. Give me the Harley Cameron win. Make her TBS champion ASAP. Do it. Brisbane Brawl, Death Riders, Cope and Jay White starting off. Cope's entrance, like, fucking incredible. Crowd is singing along. On this day, I see clearly. I want to experience Edge's entrance at least once in my life. I want to experience it. I will. AEW, please come to South Carolina soon. Please. I didn't see you last year. We were here. And I want to. Please come down. The crowd singing along to his music was just such a special moment. And then we had everyone else come out. Brawl immediately breaks out. It's a Brisbane Brawl, so it's no rules, weapons all over the place, crazy shit. We had a barbed wire wrapped chair that Mox got hit with. We had a spear through a table from Cope to Claudio. That was a really good spear. Cope kind of got some air on that one. Cope scared the hell out of me because he jumped off of something again and landed on his feet. Why are you doing that, sir? Didn't you learn from last time? Marina Shafir interferes. Wheeler Yuta interferes. Like, basically what you would expect from this. Mox actually ended up making Cope pass out. He didn't tap out, but he passed out. And the crowd was not happy with this, chanting bullshit, bullshit. This makes me wonder if we're going to get the Cope win at Revolution. That match is official. We're getting Cope versus Mox for the AEW World Championship at Revolution. I'm very curious as to what's going to happen there. I really, really don't know who's going to win that. If Cope wins, it's like, okay, what was all this for? Kind of pointless. So I feel like you need Mox to win, but also they need a fucking motivation. Overall, very solid Brisbane Brawl. I feel like for these big shows, you always have your one hardcore match, your no DQ match. Another really solid match was Okada versus Buddy Matthews Continental Championship. This was really good, really physical, lots of chops between them. There was a moment where Okada went to leave the ring And, you know, he grabs his title and starts to walk away. And Buddy Matthews is like, you know, I knew you were a bitch, Okada, but right now you're just being a wanker. And the crowd starts chanting with him. Really good stuff. Okada comes back in the ring. They put up a good fight between each other. And just a good match overall. I really liked it. Lastly, for the main event, we had Mariah May versus Timeless Toni Storm. Mariah May came out and did her entrance. And then when it was time for Toni Storm's entrance, we saw Luther come down the stairs in the crowd. And then he like did a whole thing. And he pointed at the screen. And it started playing Toni Storm's old music, but then it went and turned off, and then it did her timeless intro, black and white. She came out just really good. This was exactly what I wanted to see from them. I don't think it was better than their All in London match, but I thought it was definitely up there. And of course, they both hit their finishers, were unsuccessful, lots of close falls here. But Toni Storm won with the most dangerous move in professional wrestling, the surprise roll-up. The crowd fucking exploded. Just such a good moment for Toni Storm in her home country. This was absolutely the right call. Very good stuff. Winning with the surprise roll-up was really good because as she was doing her old bit of like pretending to be old Toni Storm, she was always winning week to week with the roll-up. So winning now with the roll-up was like, whoo, baby. It was just a good way to really cap off this run here in this story. So absolutely solid show. I loved it a lot. And fuck the haters. Like, this was such a great night for AEW. We've got some big shows coming up here, and I'm really excited for all of them. Overall, I thought it was a really good weekend of shows. We have a lot of big shows coming up soon. We've got Elimination Chamber. Like I mentioned, we have the MLP show. We've got AEW Revolution, so lots of wrestling coming up here. We've got the release of 2K25 soon, so I'll be doing some 2K25 videos, I believe. Might do some gaming content on the channel. I have another video coming up soon that's not a full episode, but it's, you know, another like one-off kind of video, so I'm excited for that. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Don't forget to drop kick your week. Bye-bye. Goodbye, everybody. Bye-bye. Goodbye.